Hi, as you can see the mood's changed in here dramatically. And don't forget, we made this video so we can make another request for you to subscribe, please. That's the only reason we're making this video, so we can get you to subscribe to our channel. So don't forget, if you subscribe to our channel, amazing things will happen. The secret of any good pulled beef is actually in the time that you cook it for and not how tender it becomes. Okay. So pulled beef, pulled pork, pulled lamb. It's not how tender it is, because you can make meat over tender and then it becomes not so much unpalatable, but it loses a lot of its flavors. And the idea is that when you pull the beef, a lot of people will separate the sauce from the beef, and they'll pull the beef or they'll pull the meat, and then they'll leave the sauce to one side and pull the beef and leave the beef to the other side. Well, that's not a very good idea. So what I do is I do mine a little bit differently, and what I want to do is I want to show you now how I do it. Now I'm doing a commercial quantity, because we're looking at about 7-8 kilos of meat here. Okay, so it's a commercial quantity, but even for a smaller amount, okay, the way you do it shouldn't change. Oh, and by the way, the type of cut that you use is totally irrelevant. Like some people say, oh, I like using brisket. Other people say, oh, I like using rump. I like using that. It's all a lot of garbage. Okay, you can cook any piece of meat that you want, and you cook it properly and long enough, it will come out nicely. As you can see, what I did with this one, I did a really good deal. I got some oyster blade from the butcher. Okay, got it for $9 a kilo with the bone in. I took it, I got him to debone it. I used the bones for taking out some broth for the grandkids, and I also took the meat, okay, and I slow cooked it. Now this only took 4 hours, and look how tender it's become. See that? Okay, I'm going to do two things now. The first thing I want to do is I want to actually separate the fat and get rid of as much of the fat as I possibly can. So I'm going to have to get a small bowl to put the fat into it. So we're going to remove some of this fat for health reasons more than anything else. Right, that's good. That's edible. Oh, that's not. Look at that. As you can see, I'm turning over the meat, okay, because it's a little bit dry on top because I've had the cover off it for a while. I'm just going to let that soak a little bit. Okay. Let's roll this over too. Get it back into the juices. As you can see, it's cooked beautifully. As I said, there's only 4 hours of cooking, most. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're not going to do too much. We're not going to pull it all apart. Let's get a bit more fat here I want to get rid of. So what we do is we're pulling it, not so that it's very stringy, just enough so we can let the juices get in between. And the juices need to get in between as quickly as possible after they've been pulled apart, okay, so that we don't lose any of the softness of the meat, okay, and while the meat's quite warm, okay, it will absorb more and more of the flavor around it. As you can see now, with all that juice that we had in here before, okay, we now have the juices slowly starting to disappear. Okay, and there's our tray of pulled beef done, ready to go. Now this one tray, I hope that it would serve, what, there's a good 30 serves in here. Beautiful with coleslaw. That was our first one. We're going to do our second tray of meat. That's not blood, that's just good stock. We've already mopped up the blood off the floor. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of the fat that's in here. Okay, some of the oil. Not too much, just looks a bit greasy at the moment. Next thing we want to do is we want to see if there's any fat here that we need to get rid of. There you are, there's a bit of. As I'm doing this, why don't you try it with me? Okay, and need the spoon for this. Okay, that's gone. Let's just flip this over a little bit and get this thing over a little bit. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Now that we can do without. It's a quadruple bypass, this one. Okay, so just get this back into, once again, all we're doing is we're just spreading it out the middle. Look at that, it's just breaking apart beautifully. Ah, magnificent. And it's so easy. Oh, look at that. Yuck. Better get that out of there before we kill somebody. That's going to have to be a bypass operation for somebody. Oh, yes, beautiful. Don't get too finicky about how it's going to end up, because once you get on the plate or you get onto your burger, it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay. And once again, another terrific dish. And remember, don't leave the kitchen the way you found it. Okay? Leave it the way you'd like to find it.